the politics of the day. And with us in studio to discuss this very important topic is Mr. Ifeanyichukwu. Mr. Ifeanyichukwu, he is also known as Onwa Novi, and he's seated here in the studio to unpack some of the things that we need to know ahead of 2027 elections. Mr. Ifeanyichukwu, thank you for joining us and welcome to the studio.
I'm very humbled to be with you. Thank you.
Great, great. Okay, so let's just dive into the conversation ahead of 2027 elections. What are some of the things or some of the reforms that you feel should be put in place to ensure that some of the fallbacks we had in 2023 will not repeat itself in 2027?
May I ask you for an opportunity for me to maybe reflect a little bit on what you might call the trend before 2027?
Absolutely.
With your permission, you don't interrogate your fall where you fell. You interrogate from where you slipped.
Okay, could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, that's why I want to make this foundation. The most critical thing is that before the regime of our presidential election system in Nigeria, we had a parliamentary regime of election. Mm-hmm. And you must first of all understand how and reason why we landed in the American presidential system before you start talking about the reforms in that system.
Okay.
The Obasanjo administration introduced the American system of
governance,
of electoral
election
system. We had a parliamentary system before. The American presidential system is a very parochial and corrupt system if you don't understand it. The regime we introduced by Obasanjo and Nigeria came into being as a result of a design to disenfranchise certain people that they have felt that had a lot of political clout. You must say the truth. The parliamentary system is purely a very conservative system, and it based on consensus and constituency interests. So when you come into the presidential system of government, it's conspiratorial. It's like an organized crime. It is a system where you see money plays a great role in the American presidential system. It does not have the background of consensus building and constituency interest. It's a type of politics that is based on pressure group and too much money. So when you come in that sphere of political regime, you must understand how you play. I can specifically speak with authority as the prefect of my own class because I have been in politics with the innovation brought by Babangida, that is the new breed system. So I ran for governor from 1987 when the new breed was, we had NRC and the SDP. So among my peer group, I'm still one of those that is still around. so I can speak. I have been able to look at the system and then considering my parish coming from the East and how we have not done well in politics. So before you talk about reforms, politics is about constituency interests. We come into the American system of politics where you don't build consensus and looking at the constituency interests. It is conspiratorial, and you cannot do the type of politics which is a Protestant style of politics, of saying in the parliamentary system you can start like a small party, and then in the formation of cabinet, the bigger party that have not made the majority will approach you, and then you can have a piece of the pie, and then put your agenda on the table for the party to implement. If they don't implement it, you filibuster in the parliament, and you want an opportunity for, if the prime minister does not agree, let everybody go back to election. So it was quite technical, and the Igbos were doing very well in that politics. But in the presidential system, it is conspiratorial. You can see even the formation of churches and the rest of them. We have not been able to do the new evangelical formation of churches because the Igbos have done well as individuals. They have not been playing group politics. So as a result of that, we are lacking behind. It is no longer in my parish interest to be in the small party because there's a conspiracy. You must come into the mainstream and play your politics. We are not a minority tribe. We should spread and dominate the sphere where we are operating. So that is one thing. I believe in the new, maybe the vista of 2027. I will suggest humbly that this is not the time for small party politics. It is not in our interest because we have done well as individuals, but we have not been very successful in group pursuit of group interests. So we must move into the larger party. If you look at the last election in 2023, there were 3 horse races. We lost. We were number 3. So if we had maybe waited and swinged and stayed in any of the major parties, we will still have our head over water. But today, there's no third place trophy. I just said that agenda to help us to navigate
Get a perspective.
Yeah.
Good.
So, okay, sir. I'd like to ask, what did you think went wrong in the last election? Because you just spoke about how we had the 3 majors coming out. Of course, we knew Peter Obi was there, Atiku was there, and then Tinubu, of course, which is now the current president. What went wrong?
Politics is about constituency interests.
Yes.
And you must have a constituency. What is the constituency of President Tinubu as when he was running? What was his constituency?
APC.
No, APC is not a constituency.
Yeah.
Who are rooting for him?
The Yorubas, of course.
Okay, you should say it loud. That's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah, the Yoruba, of course, yes.
What was the constituency of Atiku?
It was from the north.
So what's the constituency of Peter Obi?
The east.
No, Peter Obi's constituency was the urban,
obedient,
what you might call the elite.
Yes.
And the
technocrats
youths, the youths.
Yes.
You remember that one of the weaklings of Peter's campaign was that he doesn't have structure. You remember that?
Yes. Yes.
So what does structure mean? In Nigeria, structure is corruption. So because American presidential system is embedded in corruption. You must understand it. It's not a Puritan type of politics or constituency driven and the rest of them. So you must be able to find your weight. Politics is like boxing. You have a champion who can win a trophy for you. You don't put him to go and have a small, to campaign in a small weight class. You protect the champion and you make sure that he must emerge as a winner within the weight class. And then those that will knock him out, you don't allow them to come and have a shot at the champion so that you can get to the... So it's a conspiracy issue. So politics is about conspiracy. So I commend that in the Igbos need to retool. We are a very proud people. In politics, these are from my own study. In politics, your ego should be the least asset. You should have integrity. You should be an honest person. And in politics, if you're going to politics to make money, you lose it. Politics is not where you make money. You must have made money to go into politics in American presidential system. You must have made money. If you go to politics to make, Igbos went to politics, majority of them to make money, and that's why we have not been able to find our feet.
Okay, Mr. Ifeanyichukwu, there was something you said, and I would like to quote. You said, "We do not play group politics," talking about the Igbos. Now, I want you to elaborate on that against the backdrop of the Igbo-owned political party, which is the APPA. Do you think strengthening the APPA as a political group can give Igbos an edge come 2027?
I must say one thing here with all sense of responsibility. With all due respect, I respect Rochas Okorocha. He saw what I'm saying now. We all made mistakes and wanted to negotiate APPA into APC. But the rest did not see what he saw. He went there alone and it was swallowed. Because presidential system of politics is purely conspiratorial. It's corruption ridden. You need to have your man in all the corners. So if they have been able to follow up with the APPA, they will still maintain their DNA and continue to negotiate to have a space in politics. But it was a lost opportunity. Today's politics, you can't play Nigeria politics because the design of bringing presidential system of government in Nigeria was conspiratorial. Because if you are in a parliamentary system and you're in a small party and you're able to control your constituency, you should be able to negotiate and have a seat in the cabinet of the government. But where is Labour Party in the scheme of things? Politics is not about becoming minister, but getting some of your ideas. In America, they call it the platform upon which you run. What's your idea as you want to see implemented in politics so that your constituency can benefit? There's no idea. People are just going there because I want to be minister. For you to be a minister, you must have an idea. What is it? Which ministry? For example, none of the political parties in Nigeria could form a shadow cabinet because they are ill-prepared for leadership. You should form a cadre. You know where it's just like football. You know those who can play left out, you put him there so that he will start expounding those ideas about your political strategy. And then the electorate will be seeing that this guy is a nice. If you put him in economics, he will do well. If you put him, we do not recruit. Igbos are perfectly very innovative and hardworking. They are doing very great as individuals, but not in group activity. We need to retool. And 2027 is the vista. We must retool. I say this authoritatively. I've done a study on this issue. I've looked at the weak links. If we don't cover the beats, we can't make it.
Mr. Ifeanyichukwu, I have two questions. First of all, I want to take us back to the past in 1987 when you ran for the governorship election. How was it then for you then? What structure did you have in place?
That was the first time people were excluded. Babangida had an idea that he wanted new men. So I believed at that time that I have the credentials. New men, I tried to form a party, did not work. Others also tried, and then they formed two for us, NRC, SDP. I pitched my camp with the Republican party called NRC, based on the economic blend. I am a free market person, but I still believe that government must also participate in government, in business. I don't believe that this new idea of no government participation, because how do you protect the people? So America is a very corrupt system. If you don't, I went to school there. So I saw that the majority of poor people are in America. The system don't take care of America. There's no room for handout. So there's no welfare in America. So that's what we have adopted. So that time, the political, there's people we call that the money bags. That was the syndrome of money bag. Before I joined politics, I was prefect. I made money. I was successful. So I joined to render service because Babangida said he wanted new men, people with ideas and the rest of it. But the recruiting process, the younger generation that were targeted to participate in government were ill-equipped. Politics requires money, influence, and I had some radical ideas. I was intellectual as in politics. The people I was running against were they had clay foot because I saw the American system. I brought in I introduced billboards because the political machinery were suppressing new ideas. They wouldn't allow me to go into the party secretariat because those who wanted to be governor were controlling the party machinery. There are two kinds of politicians, the bureaucrats and the careerists. I was thinking towards being a careerist. It's like when you want to recruit a player that plays good football. You recruit him because you want to win. But the bureaucrats are people who man the party machinery. Their responsibility is to scout and look for men with constituency, men with credentials, men with ideas that can form the team. But within our regime, they were bottling up good ideas and new ideas. So I had to find a way to think outside the box. Because they wouldn't allow me into the secretariat. I introduced outdoor so that I can use the pressure in the community to force them to nominate me.
Did it work?
It didn't work, but they lost. My state, Anambra, there was a backlash. NRC, my party, I was expelled in the party on national television. It's all part of experience. NRC did not field me. They lost Anambra State to SDP, and they won the rest of the states in the south. What the combination of southeast and the rest of south.
South, yes.
Yeah. So it was the party later on apologized because I represented the epitome of new Britism. Ideas, articulate, and you were able to mobilize your constituency, the young, youthful generation. But it didn't work.
All right, Mr. Ifeanyichukwu, let's talk a little bit about the forthcoming off-cycle Edo gubernatorial elections. I want to have your thoughts on that election.
Yes, you know, I have made some critical foundation, which is only those with 2 ears will understand what I'm saying. Depending if you are a minority, the space in politics, you require not to play the Protestant politics.
What does that mean?
The Protestant politics is when you take a minority party and you think you want to be governor in that state and you can make the difference. The rest of your constituency suffers. Because presidential system is about conspiracy. You can't leave it out of it. The bigger parties will make sure they deny you certain access to national infrastructure. And members of your party cannot have opportunity to get the privilege of the big office. For example, Anambra. How many people in Anambra in this administration, even though I don't know whether they have giving people opportunity to be ambassadors, some appointments, because you're in a small party. So you suffer, you're like bottled up. So the majority of, that's why I'm saying in Edo now, people are thinking that Labour Party will, well, I am not advising anybody. For you to play politics today in Nigeria, you must look at the sparrow. The way to go is to make sure you get into a larger space so that you can dominate whichever sphere you want to participate.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I would like to ask, moving on to the 2027 presidential election, which of the candidates, of course, we've seen Peter Obi all around the country. Some people say he's been building boreholes, he has been doing a lot of things. But now, to bring it to what you've been saying about having to be in a bigger party, because obviously we know that the bigger party tend to have more power, even to the national reserves and all of that, yeah. Which of these candidates, we know Tinubu would still want to come out. I don't know about what PDP has in stock, but we know Peter Obi will still be coming out. Which of these parties do you think are doing the most or doing the best right now, in the best position to succeed?
I'm not trying to be a man that saw tomorrow. What I'm saying is from my own study.
Yes.
None of the party, there's so much apathy in Nigeria today because the political class are in politics to make money. They are not in politics for ideas. So, and that's why the people are not gearing and towards them. If you say in this country there's a legislation that you must have 50% registered voters, nobody will be elected. Because they don't seem to have the chemistry of what developmental politics is all about. It's politics of infrastructure or getting a job or putting somebody somewhere or getting... If you come into politics to make money, you don't make it. Politics is not for making money. There's a saying in Igbo land that you go to politics to serve, to bring us, to open windows and create presence and success where success does not exist. That's what politics is all about. You must learn to recognize excellence. You must learn to recruit good people, to bring them in. None of the parties, have you ever seen where the parties in Nigeria are holding meetings? They don't plan. Everything is the governor, president, rock. The parties have no blueprint. There is no political parish either in PDP or NRC or APC that the chairman can tell you what is the economic program, how many secondary schools do we have in my local government, what is the index of new businesses, and because all they are waiting for is to have a contract. So we have not started. The chemistry has to properly be situated. It's not been situated. So
you clearly have very divergent ideology to the ruling current political class.
There is nothing going on. Everybody is looking upon Tinubu. Where is the party? Where is the program of the party?
But ahead of
Tinubu came to office
2027
and told Nigerians subsidy is gone. Who did he discuss it with? So that's because the president is the leader of the party and he dominates the party. Meetings of APC will be held in Asuro. So those who have new ideas will be excluded.
All right. Very quickly, let's talk electoral process and the introduction of the beavers. how prepared do you think INEC is towards the 2027 elections, given some of the problems, encountered with the Vivas in 2023?
INEC is an institution. INEC cannot reform itself. Every day the political leadership is holding meeting with INEC. They go there for photo ops. Where are the ideas that the parties are bringing to reform INEC? Where are the bills in the parliament to change the system that will bring good results? For example, why must INEC in an election not be the principal person that will come and show how they declared a winner? Why must it be the same civil procedure system in jurisprudence that he who asserts must prove? We must change that system. If we don't change it, so it is not for INEC to bring it to. And then these people are in parliament. Can they bring that change? It will be difficult. They are not interested. Because, they made one critical amendment in the 9th Assembly. Before, we had opportunity that we can question the election of a candidate. Now they said, they went and amended the law and said, no, it's the only person who contested in that primary that can challenge it. I am the first Nigerian that went to court to challenge the system as a party validly elected, but was excluded by INEC. I gave them, but the matter is in Supreme Court today. I was awarded 22 million naira for exclusion. INEC went to the parliament and changed it. They have removed that particular ground for challenging the election. So this is fraud and conspiracy all over the place. I am the first Nigerian. I won 22 million naira against INEC for excluding me in 2023 Anambra governorship election. We are in Supreme Court now. INEC went to the parliament and lobbied and removed the ground for questioning election for lawful exclusion. So,
this system is corrupt, and it has been for a very long time. What can be done, or do we live with it?
The other day, saw some statesmen going to President Tinubu that we need to restructure Nigeria. Obasanjo and his group introduced presidential system of government. Purely, it was designed to make sure that certain people cannot emerge in leadership position in this country. They say that you must have spread, you must have so and so percentage of elected, you must win 2/3 and the rest of them. It was designed to make sure. You just came out of the Civil War. How can you have that type of spread? So let us go back to the parliamentary system of government. It is a constituency-based, is a type of politics system that has culture. It brings character, integrity, and honesty. And it also helps the electorates to be clean. The electorates have been so corrupt that for you to become a candidate, you must go on visiting the parishes, the constituencies, giving them salt, giving them... so we can't continue going in circle. So I believe that we have to find a way to educate Nigerians, and we must make sure one of the greatest weak link in Igbo society is that the political class, the business class, and the intellectuals are not meeting.
Mr. Ifeanyichukwu, I have a personal question. Why were you exempted in the 2023 election in Anambra State?
I was unlawfully excluded by INEC, but I went to court. The court gave me damages. I'm the first Nigerian that did this. That money is in Diamond Bank, now Access Bank, and we're in Supreme Court.
So you don't have access to the money?
No, but I have won the judgment. INEC is appealing. We are fighting. At least I don't take no for answer.
All
I'm
right.
the only person that sued INEC, seized their money, and will appeal.
All right, Mr. Ifeanyichukwu, you've openly called for a switch from the presidential to the parliamentary. Now, do you have a platform in order to, because you also mentioned creating awareness for Nigerians to actually know the difference and go for the parliamentary. So do you have a platform, through which you educate people or through which you make Nigerians aware of these systems and call for a switch from the presidential to the parliamentary?
Politics. I hear some people say, I'm not a politician. You can say you are not a partisan politician. Politics is about living. Your day-to-day, for you to succeed in education, there must be politics. You are talking about funding, grants, and the rest of it, changing curriculum and the rest of them, and healthcare. It's all politics. So you may say you are not in partisan politics. Politics, using democracy as the basis, is very technical. Democracy is not for the uninitiated. It's not for anybody. You must be, you have to have ability, not necessarily that you must be an intellectual. You must be able to communicate, you must be able to read and write. Politics has depth, it has breadth, it has weight, it has intellectual, it has crusade, people who crusade, people who do all kinds of things. Now, coming to what you're saying, I told you from my own parish, our weakness is that the business class, the political class, and the intellectual group are not meeting. We don't have platform.
How can we get them all to the table?
That's why we are talking. I'm saying it here. I'm a leader in my own community. So what I'm saying is that look at the people who are now in politics. You find out that they block good people from coming in. How many people have come to your neighborhood and asked you, please, I want you to join our party? It's exclusion. They don't want good ideas. So we must force ourselves in and expand it so that the politics can now create the necessary environment we need for progress and development. So we need people, platforms like this platform. You must not have, you don't need to form a church, you don't need to form a club. I am somebody who is also very open to new ideas. I am also intellectually liberal. I recognize excellence. Anybody who is better than me, I will recognize him. So we need for our people to understand that politics is not evil. Politics, the people who are in politics in Igbo land went to politics for personal gain. If you're not there for personal gain, why are you not recruiting? Why are you not bringing other people in so that all these crises will be over? Why is it that there's so much acrimony? So the elites are away, they are not participating. You go to your village and see who is the chairman of ABC party. It must be one person, Okada rider. How can he be Okada? It was in the transition that we had sometime that Taylor became a legal advisor of a party because the lawyers were not in the party. Go and ask a person who is, what is the organigram of the party, the reigning party in my state, in Enugu state now is PDP. I don't know who is the chairman in my ward. As prominent as I am, they feel I should not be in their party. That's the problem. So we must change it. We must force the door open. We must remove this glass ceiling. Intellectual, good men must seize power. Other than that, that's why everybody in Igbo land is tarring his road, giving himself borehole, sending his children to school, America and all that. So where is the money on education? Where is the money for welfare of the people? So who can, and then if you are aggressive and you want to ask questions, they say, this man is a troublemaker. And the litigation is a part of politics. I told you INEC excluded me. I sued them. I went to court. I got judgment. And I still have 22.5 million sitting in the bank.
All right, Mr. Ifeanyichukwu. On the 1st of August, the hunger and hardship protest started, and it ran for 10 days, but the level of intensity dropped a little bit. But that's not my question. My question is, the Southeast decided not to join in this protest. What's your take on this?
First of all, that's bad politics. We cannot be stigmatizing ourselves. That's bad. Our political leaders were naive by saying, don't participate. We can do that subtly without coming out to make enemies for ourselves. The protest, there are 4 elements of protestation. 1 is boycott. 2 is you can do what was introduced here that is causing us a lot of problems. They sit at home. You can march,
Yes.
and you can also decide to picket. That is carry. But when you are going to do a protest, that protest cannot be 10 days protest. 1, that's wrong. I don't agree with 10 days, because those who are protesting, who sustains them for 10 days? Because they have to close their business and come and participate. The next is that, what are we targeting? The people who are promoting and the architects of bad government in this country are the governors. I'm not afraid. They are the governors. What is the blueprint for development? So we're always looking at federal and the rest of them. So when you say bad government, you're protesting for bad government, we must begin to narrow this thing down to where we can bring the change. The parliaments in the 5 Igbo states, I don't know how many of you who are in this profession, journalism, that have the opportunity to go to their chambers to see what legislation that are being debated. Laws are made, we don't see it's not gazetted. We are not running the local government the way it should be run. There's no accountability. There are offices of Auditor General, Accountant General. How many of us have taken the pain to write to the government that we want to see their statement of affairs? So it's not just going to gather in a place. I am also happy that some of the attorney generals were very proactive. They went to court to restrain this type of processions and the rest of them, so that you stay away from business districts, so that you don't disrupt certain activities.
Yes.
Schools, military cantonments, hospitals, commercial banks. You don't go there to, except you are picketing those institutions. Other than that, you should be restrained.
Yes.
You go to maybe Okpara Square and you come there and you agitate. And they have to have people that will address them, what the issues are. It cannot be an omnibus agenda. So, but I like the protest. It shows that the people, because the protest is coming to become righteous. And that's one, I withdrew my support for the protest because it took an ethnic twist.
All right, Mr. Ifeanyichukwu, it's obvious and you've made it abundantly clear that there are challenges with our political ideologies and electoral processes. So my question to you is, what is the role of diaspora in Nigerian politics?
Diasporans are fashioned after the American politics system, which is politics of corruption and pressure group. The diasporans can participate. If in parliamentary system, you cannot participate as a diaspora. But it's only in American system, because it's a corrupt system, a system of intimidation, pressure group, and the rest of it. Because the parliamentary system is politics of consensus and constituency interests. So the diasporans in the American presidential system have a space to participate.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ifeanyichukwu Okonkwo. You've given us a lot of insight on what is going on currently in our country and the whole electoral system. Now, you said good men should be able to come out and push ourselves into the system going on. How can they do this? It's not just easy coming out to say, I want to get into this place. There should be strategies, and I believe so. So what are the strategies that good men or men of integrity can use to infiltrate such system?
You know, we talk about participation in electoral system. You have to have organization.
Yes.
Having organization means that you must recruit. You must begin to find your classmates, people you go to churches with, people you live on the street with, people you do sports with. And you now begin to gravitate on how to come to dominate your space. Because politics is about number. In my ward, in Independence Layout, we don't hold ward meetings. So how do you really get to know? So we now begin to organize. Then the people who are financially capable will also bring the drinks that will make those who don't want to attend. So it's about conspiracy. If you are doing the American presidential system, you must find a way. If you come in American presidential system that we copied, you can see that the poor and the youths, there's nothing like youth movement in America. If it takes money to play, you have to out-organize. And you must come into the system. Like I'm telling you, small parties do not have a chance in the presidential system. More particularly, Igbos are not a minority tribe. We should come in 2027, play in the big league, and struggle for the ball in the big league.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Mr. Ifeanyichukwu Okonkwo. That was Mr. Ifeanyichukwu Okonkwo talking 2027 Nigerian politics, the need for grassroots politicking, and the need for ideology changes so as to move our democracy forward. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us so much deep insights into the subject matter.
I'm humbled. Thank you.
All right. If you're still with us, this is still New Day. Don't forget to go over to our social media platforms, like, share, subscribe at Signature Television Official, at Signature TV Official. Entertainment news is up next.